Okay, hey there guys, so for today's war we have JA, so I actually put on some real boosts. I made sure I had the 20-15-20, which is your standard medium boost set. I put on full mutant boosts. It was actually funny, I think, was it that day or the next day, mutant boost came in the store, so I grabbed like an extra one so I had one in overflow, because I had a feeling I was going to be getting some apoc for this final like 3 wars. So I have path 1 here, so for this fight, there's really no reason to use Apoc for it, to like use Apocalypse for it specifically, other than the fact of here's what his SP2 is gonna do. It gets you back up to another SP2, and it puts the debuffs on. And so as long as I don't Dex here, I'm just gonna go back in and throw the SP2, and that's just gonna finish Dormammu right off. And yeah, that's pretty much why you pick Apocalypse or something like this. There's no real reason for him for that fight, but this next fight, there is actually a bit more reason with Masochism, because Masochism is a shrug-off ability. Apocalypse just fully stops this node, pretty much. And for that Dormammu, you're just able to burst through it so efficiently with the Power Start 1s and the Power Back boosts and Suicides. It just makes him such a like damage monster, pretty much. So as long as I don't, well, get hit or like Dex. If I Dex in one of these fights, I actually probably should have just taken Dex off when I was thinking about that, but there was part of a reason why I didn't want to. So this is going to absolutely nuke the Symbiote Supreme, and I don't actually even need the power back boost, just the single SP2 killed, which is very crazy. Like, there's not much to Apocalypse fights, I feel like. I don't know. Okay, no, some Apocalypse fights are very, very intensive, but like those first two are pretty much just get to SP2 as long as I don't Dex. Here for this next fight, I go on to Path 7, which is probably one of the more annoying paths, I guess. I've been told it's one of the more annoying paths. I'm never sure which is the hardest, because, like, I don't know. All the paths have their own little tricks, you know? So I thought I would throw on the Greater Special 3 defense. I probably should have done that from the start if I was going to end up putting it on. So here it has Spite and Rise to Power, so right when I knock him down, I used to take this path a lot more, actually. When you knock him down, he's going to be able to get some power. And Apocalypse lets you just parry against him every time, so you just throw only light hits, and you don't have to worry about getting the damage back. And I'm able to time it very well. I just get up to SP2 right as I knock off his shield. I go straight in for the SP2, and I was really hoping he would just like dash in at me. I should have done like a light or something, do something to try to get him to come out, but because I don't, I end up having to throw my SP2 into his rock, or not having to, I end up throwing my SP2 into his rock shield, which lowers my damage greatly on that. So I lose a lot of health, or not a lot of health, I lose extra health from the recoil, I do less damage, and if I had gotten him to just come straight at me after that after my SP2 where he throws his SP1, or if I just like held block or something kind of like that, it would have been better. So here is where my Archangel comes into play. I get my Horseman from my own Apocalypse this time, which is something I haven't done in a little bit. And I decided to put on an Invul boost because this is Aspect of Evolution and Kinetic Transference, which both of those can be a little bit annoying individually, because Aspect of Evolution, it just really brings up your block damage, and it's... Oh wait, I put a regen? Oh no, yeah, that's right. I put a regen on, I'm like, yeah, this will be fine. I took that Mojo here, I've taken Sassies, this is nothing. I'm like, you know what? It's a double power gain, because when they both work together, it gets them their bars of power quicker, and then the Aspect of Evolution makes the power gain from Kinetic Transference bigger, and it just kind of like keeps going in to like it makes the next parry even bigger, which then makes the next parry bigger. So I got pretty unlucky on that first Neurotoxin, but right here I eat the SP1 into the block, and I have 0 Limber on because of how I set up my masteries, so I get 4 hits into me. Or I guess actually, yeah, I get 4 hits into me, and then I Dex out of it, so now I'm rupturing down, and I was getting a little concerned because the ruptures tick for not like the most, but they're just sticking on me for a really long time, and the longer the fight goes, the more of his Wrath charges he gains, which lower your damage, and the more, again, the Kinetic Transference and stuff will pick up. But right there, I was going to push him to SP3 because he was super low health, and I was just going to throw SP2 at the end of the combo, which would for sure kill. And I still have one more fight. I really wanted this Super Scroll because I think Archangel's just a really good counter for this fight, but wasn't what was assigned, so I had to wait a little bit. Zap came in and he took that. He did it very, very well. He actually has an incredible war, this war. Yeah, he's a very good player. He did very well in that Super Scroll with CGR. I just kind of wanted it with Archangel because I wanted more fights, because I want to fight with Archangel, because I like using my rank 4 Archangel, okay? That's what it is. So for this Sersi, it doesn't go exactly how I would have liked it to go. So this first heavy is fine, except for the fact that I trigger her glance. So now I'm stuck in between a rock and a hard place, because for every heavy that I throw, I'm giving her regens, which will give me a falter, but for every heavy I don't throw, like if I don't transfer the falter from me to her, then I get the falter and I miss, and because of that, I ended up hesitating on that one heavy, trying to time it for something, I think. No, it's because of the miss. I was trying to sneak it in just in time, and then there, I was having to check the timers and stuff, and so I ended up letting her slip out, but fortunately I was able to actually dex it that time. I throw the SP2 here, and my neurotoxins keep her regens off, so right now I just decide I'm going to play it back, and I'm going to parry a couple times. I'm able to use that heavy to remove that falter set, and I have the 3 neurotoxins, so the falter falls off, and it doesn't trigger, and the fight's over. As I said, it didn't go how I wanted it to go. Ideally, my heavy wouldn't have given her the glancing buff. Maybe I overboosted, or I should have taken off suicides. I probably should have taken off suicides. And as I said on the thumbnail, this is a very, very big war for GT40. JA is always up there in the standings. I don't think they're as up there this season. I think they're a little bit off of us from what I remember, and they're not like a direct threat. But they're a very, very good alliance as always. 3-2 and 1,000-second difference. A war doesn't get too much closer than that. And honestly, this probably should have been 2-2. I know one of their deaths was from a friend of mine, and very unlucky. The death was caused by a bug, kind of, which is very, very unfortunate. Very unfortunate to happen in a war like that. But this was a very, very good war. It's a very, very close war. So it's always a really fun one, and we really needed this win to just let the end of the season be a little bit more smooth for us, and hopefully we close out the season as quick as we can here. I hope you guys have enjoyed the video. I hope to see you guys soon. Bye.